Yeah, hi. So, welcome to another podcast on Minimalist Techie. So, if you are new here, thanks for listening to our podcast. So, we'll quickly give you an introduction. Basically, this is an audio version of the newsletter which I release weekly, and mostly the newsletter is all about the articles, books, videos, whatever I watch, and especially my viewpoint, mostly like my blog spot on different topics which are revolves around my head during the week. So, So, without wasting any time, let's get into this week's podcast. And thank you again. Very appreciate for you being here. So, our very first topic is C-section associated with increased risk of childhood infection. See, one of the tweet made me land into this particular article where latest research has shown that cesarean section is associated with an increased risk of childhood infections. See, majorly this study is performed in high-income countries, mostly four fully developed countries, where living standards and health ratings are pretty better and done at a count of almost 7.7 million. So this study made me read further as this detail is something I wanted to read since so long. See, I'm from India where C-sections are done at very high scale. Studies like this should be done more and more as it will help any couple with a great information what to choose for if it was an option, right? So everyone and many of the countries it is an elective option. You can choose for it. In some countries, normally if at all you are good for your health is good and you don't require a C-section, then you don't require. Then you don't require. Normally you'll do on a regular vaginal uh, birth. So thanks to this particular team, they have done extensively research. This is still early, I would say, but really thanks for all the insights which they have shared because this is very important. Parents. See, they followed the children through their fifth birthdays and noticed that C-section babies had a 10% higher risk of infections, which can actually cause hospitalization. So these risks were seen over 5 years, which is nothing but since birth, and the case till fifth year. And the cases reported were higher, especially in respiratory and gast- gastrointestinal and viral infections. So yeah, as a parent, yes, many kids, small babies, go through gastrointestinal problems, and mostly like not just any regular type of small bacteria or small viral infections which doesn't require hospitalization. We are talking about the things which can actually cause hospitalizations itself. So the reason why this research and other new research are needed in this particular area is, say this article findings are proven with a more scientific findings, this will actually give couples pretty greater information to make a selection if an option is given between C-section and the vaginal bore. So I'm going to post that link in our show notes. Please have a quick look at it. And definitely, I would say this is pretty big study done, and many in the countries have not done this type of a study, and especially I would say this is needed because everyone have a right to know with so much of medical information around everyone have a right to know what each type of a birth, right, pros and cons should be listed, right. It's not because pregnancy is not something just a 9 months of a journey because uh, once the baby is out as well the mother's body goes through many changes because of the even it's a vaginal birth, even it's a c-section, right. So there's a changes in their body goes through it, so it's very important to understand this particular case, and I really appreciate at least for this particular article for doing so much for doing this particular summary. So I would say this particular study, I would say it is the reason I am saying children born by elective c-section compared to the vaginally born is a 10 to 13%, right, that much increased risk. So this is something which definitely utilized for every one of us, every one of the parents to know this information if someone is planning for a first child or even for a second child or third. So give a read. So second topic on this particular newsletter was be your team top performer. So, do you ever think how someone in your team is always special? They are torchbearer, and they are the first preference in the team for the management as well. They are the go-to person, and they have the most secure job in the team, irrespective of how team get ramps up or ramp down. Right? Yes, they cultivate certain qualities, and if you notice, you can also adapt those qualities in you to become your team superstar. So, so I have seen, I have been one of the top performer in my teams in couple of projects, and I have seen in many other projects in many other teams other top performers as well. So I'm just drafting few things which comes to my mind quickly, and also to remind myself, so that in every new team, uh, even I join or you join, it's very important to know these qualities are good to have, right? Because they are going to help us in our career as well. So quickly, I mentioned in this newsletter, there are, if you dig into a lot of articles, you can get more and more. But what I drafted, let's quickly walk through once. So they're always on a learning mode. Either it's learning new skills which is required for their existing job, or their existing work skills which they are lagging, and they need some improvements in that area. See, as more skills are added, which are value to the team and the company, it will automatically result in their day-to-day deliverables. So you can clearly see in their day-to-day work that they are shining well. So they have built a path so much clear that it will automatically get recognized, because that is impacting. So that impact is showing on their work, right? You can see that their delivery is improved. So also these skills you add will not just help in the current position, but they will also prepare you or someone prepare us for next higher positions at the same company, or you can fit to any team or any company anywhere, right? So if you're not sure of, let's say, okay, you want to like to add much skills, say if you're not sure of which skills to get add, right? So sometimes we'll be in that particular situation as well. So do look out for a mentor or a colleague in the workplace, or look at your own project. You can see many bottlenecks clearly. So if the case is like this, you want to learn a skill for which you do not have any work experience. So if your scenario is like that, space take currently working on some web interface development, and you literally want to go in deep into the some data related development, right? So I'm just giving that example from my IT career side. So if you are getting in that scenario, then refer to other colleagues in those respective departments, or use LinkedIn or like tools for the networking. I would say do not hesitate. Don't feel as a stranger to reach out for an help. Just follow industry leaders in that area, and please hit those connection requests and ask for an help. So remember, the person who is really performing that particular job is the best person to share you what books, training, certifications are worth of your time. Okay, don't simply go by some blah 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 what a training institutes are sharing, or what someone else at a high level information is simply saying next to you. Always listen from a person who is industry leader in that particular, or their top performers. If even you don't know, look into their LinkedIn. Doesn't matter however stranger you are, just hit that connection request. That's all. That's a so networking. Don't feel shame about it. That's what these tools are meant for, actually. Mhm. So second quality, the unique quality on such resource is that they always step up. See, in those group meetings, they're the first one to voice solutions to the problems. So not just hard skills are needed to give a solution. I would say one would need very good soft skills as well to communicate solution well. So to show ownership or leadership in team, we would need to improve our soft skills. So definitely not just hard skills, soft skills also an improvement is required. See, they act in best interest of a team always, and that is the third quality I would say. Not just performing their own tasks, they take team ownership. That is by you don't have to tag them as team lead, project manager. They simply take team ownership in the team where they belong to. So that is by helping the other team members as well completing their tasks, or helping them if they are struggling with some complex scenario and if they have the skill set to resolve it. So just this week, I'll give you an example. One of my team meeting, uh, mostly it was from different departments. People were there, not just my own team. So one person stepped up and mentioned that uh, he, the particular person has a skill which are needed by a different department and was ready to help for next few weeks, which includes not just completing his own task during the particular week, and he is ready to step up and help the other department people as well till they find a resource or ready to help whenever they needed something. So people like this are welcome not just within their own team but also in other departments also. And the more and more we have people with this quality in a team, it will make a team stronger. Do note, not everyone is a genius in a team. It is a team effort which makes the team genius. Okay. So fourth one, going back to our first point, always on a learning mode. So these guys really understand their work industry, not just their current work. They are always on learning what latest happenings in their industry, get them up upskill with those latest skills what market is asking. See, this is very important for everyone, as not just becoming crucial for your team, becoming crucial for industry teams will make yourself so unique so you can shine in any team. So do let me know in my podcast comment or read my orals or my uh, newsletter. Add a comment there. What else qualities do you think are owned by such a top performers, and how any one of us can learn gain those qualities? Yes, we have to put a work is needed. Not just it not a all these qualities, they are not like just uh, pack your bag and leave. You need to really do a hard work in order to get these skills added. So but these qualities are they are very good for our career. So a little good hard work, it doesn't hurt anyone, right? So third topic for this particular week, and which is the psychology behind revenge, bedtime, procrastination. See, BBC did an article on this topic, which I read this week. I would mention that particular article in the show notes. Definitely a good read, I would say. See, it started. So I'm really not talking about. I'm just talking about the later part of the article. The article talked about multiple things, but see, it started with the Chinese 996 work culture, which is nothing but 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, a work culture. So if you're aware, in US, just like Monday to Friday, like 5 days, 8 to 5, 8 hours, 40 hours per week is the US work culture. Germany, I hear they are like 5 to 6 hours per day. So every country, they have a different work cycle. India is 9 to 6. So one is giving almost 14 to 15 hours of their time, especially in this Chinese culture where they are working 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. So if someone is working this 12 hours per day, and one is giving almost 14 to 15 hours of their time daily to work, if you include showing up to work, getting ready, traveling, everything, right? So that will add up to those 12 hours. So science has proven that every adult requires 8 hours of sleep for sure. So one is working these many number of hours, they have very few hours to have their food, talk to their partners, read, play with their kids. Even they carve out max 30 minutes for themselves, which can be, say, learning something which is needed for their job, or a new hobby, or a passing time in front of a TV or a mobile phone. They are hardly left with 6 hours of sleep per day. Knowing that putting less than 8 hours of sleep per day will impact our health, people are still pushing their time more and more to separate their work hours and get time for themselves and their families is really hard hitting the sleep schedule. So, from this article, the psychology is terming this as one's revenge to gain their personal time. See, as it clearly shows, a revenge like emotion here. that people are ready to take some leisure time out for themselves and families at expense of sleep. So it's like 9 to 9, you're at work, you're listening to your boss, or you're that entire work day is eating up your day, and you really want to develop some other habit or your hobbies, or you really want to upskill yourself on your existing job, or you want to spend time with your kids, or you want to watch some 30 minutes of stand-up comedy, whatever it is, right? So people when work these many number of hours, they need something for themselves and for their families, their me time, right? And because they hardly left after their dinner, they hardly have very few hours, and what they half an hour 1 hour is not enough, right? So they are pushing that time till 1 o'clock 2 o'clock as well, and next day morning again the grind begins. So this behavior is not just for 9 to 9 working people, this is applicable to many. See any couple with a newborn baby, you will easily notice that once the baby is slept at night, the couple gets the time to work, talk, or spend leisurely, right? So they extend their sleep schedule, knowing next morning they will be sleep deprived. They clearly aware of it because you don't require an alarm, and if you have a newborn baby, baby will wake you up. So they extend their sleep schedule, knowing that the next morning they have to get up irrespective how late they sleep. So yeah, do definitely give a read. The article talks about additional stuff about the career. It talks about people staying long hours, putting long hours just to impress the boss. How one country's work culture, uh, they are putting more number of hours from the work is taking. They are seeing this as an. They're not seeing this as bad. Basically, some of people are seeing this as a pretty good overhand against other countries where people are putting less number of works, so they have higher work. Not I don't know about the productivity over there, but definitely they're putting more number of hours. So give a read. All right. Mm. So fourth one is not something really topic is I don't have any viewpoint, but definitely this article made me that realize that yes, we the science is getting into a more and more understanding of the current virus like situations, right? Let's get into topic itself. So basically the topic is about DeepMind artificial intelligence solution. So DeepMind is a company which solved proteins folding problem. So DeepMind is a decade old company. Actually New York Times also did an article on this one. uh, so and but I read it in DeepMind blog post on Twitter. I found this link. So DeepMind actually is a decade-old company which was bought by Google in 2014. This company so far achievements were mostly in games. They built systems that surpassed human intelligence. See, on November 30th, 2020, 2 to 3 weeks back, they came into news with a breakthrough that they have solved 50 years old challenge which scientists were struggling with their AlphaFold artificial system. Right? So the system has solved knowing how proteins are folded. So they call it as the protein folding problem. See, basically, proteins are those tiny, tiny things in our body which drive the behavior of viruses, bacteria, and also all human body. A major challenge is how a protein in an initial phase starts folding in infinite ways and turn into a 3D structure. So scientists needs this identification of a shape of a protein, and it would require a hell lot of experimentation. And now this study has cracked to give result how a protein is folded into its final structure in just matter of days. So why this is so important? Right now we are in this pandemic since more than 8 to 9 months now. So it might be late in the game for current situation, but this will be a game change for the future viruses to understand it much faster and come up with medications to the multiple diseases quickly. So, if scientists can understand a shape of a protein in the human body, they can determine how other molecules in our body map to it. So it will give them a better understanding of a virus, uh, and so this is pretty good news actually. I would say in a scientific side. So I'm going to mention the DeepMind blog. Uh, do definitely give a read. And that's all for this week. And I guess yes, we are nearing to the Christmas holidays in US, then a New Year. And if you are taking a vacation, and yeah, do take some time off and rest yourself. Also, we all are working home this particular since many months. Uh, don't restrict yourself to work. Take some time off and rest and give a rest to yourself. That is all for this week. See you again. Do subscribe over on Apple Podcast. Our show name is Minimalist Techie. And if you'd like to read an articles directly on my newsletter, you can go to my website, Sridhar Gargipati, my name, .substack.com. So it is sridhargargipati.substack.com. So do let me know on my podcast or on the website in the comments. You guys can reach me at my Twitter handle at the rate Swamisri1. So let me know. Do share, like, subscribe, whatever these days kids says. Uh, from my end, stay connected, share ideas, and spread happiness, guys. See you again. Bye.